Anytime you want. Got it. I am calling this meeting to order. This is the February 19th council meeting. We will begin by all rising to have the Pledge of Allegiance. Usually I have a very young person. I don't see too many young people. You guys are much younger than us. Oh yeah, where's Georgia tonight? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I think the second meeting in March, we have a Girl Scouts troop coming, and then we usually have a lot of scouts, but we have you tonight. So super. Thank you for being part of all that. So with that, we will go on to the roll call. Michaela, if you could give us that'd be great.
Janetti. Here. Krenz.
Here.
Morosky Brown.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Turnbull.
Here. Great. We have a full quorum. We are meeting according to the Open Meetings Act in the state of Michigan. The governor sets up policies and procedures. So that is what we follow here, pretty much Robert's rules and the whole bit. But we have comments after every item that's on there, up to 3 minutes. Those in the council area and those online too. We're very open on that, but I will open it up for comments. It's not a Q&A. It's a common area, and that's the way it's set up by the state. So just so you know, I see some new faces out there. Usually we have a lot of frequent flyers in here. So with that, and if you haven't, those that just came in, this is kind of like your agenda. This is the game card going forward. It's on the wall as you come into the right. We're on number 4, the approval of the agenda. Pretty straightforward tonight. Is there anything to add or to delete from that agenda? Anybody? If not, I'm looking for a motion to go forward on the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have support for that motion?
Support.
Support. Any other discussion on this? If not, I think we can do this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Great. We have an agenda. So now we will go to public comment. Anything that's not on the agenda. When I get to the things on the agenda, we are talking about the adoption of an amendment to the rooster and the chicken ordinances tonight. If you're here to talk about that, wait until I open that up. That is something that we already had the first reading on that. And that's really the second. We're just going to a closed door on some local activity, something on Novi Road and something with the township, just policies and procedures. We'll talk about that. But that is the only thing on the main agenda. And we have an unbelievable presentation. I understand they're just going to blow us away from the Northville Art House tonight. But before that, is there any public comment on anything that's not on the agenda? Anything but the chickens? Going once, going twice.
I don't know, what do you mean, but I have something I wanted to just.
So this would be, and come right up to the microphone, and yeah, this would be the time. If it's not, this is the time to come up. Yep. So you come up, give your full name and address, and be into the record. Anything that's not on the agenda, this is the time.
Hi, good evening. My name is Liza Esqueda. I actually live in the township, but I am here representing an organization that I recently started working for called the Recovery Action Network of Michigan, and we're based in Wayne. So we are a recovery community organization, and what that means is we service people who are in any aspect of recovery, whether it's alcoholism, marijuana use, eating disorders, just anything along those lines. And we provide community events. We work with other cities. We are currently, we have some programs called Alternative to Suspension in Plymouth schools, Canton schools, Livonia schools, and we're expanding that into Wayne and Westland. So our services are typically free. We are funded by the opioid settlement fund that Michigan receives, and it's doled out to the counties and from there to the cities and townships. So any programs that we offer are at no cost to the city. And we just kind of want to let you guys know that we're here. We're working with organizations. We have like things like a 5K bowling. We had a what was called a Renew workshop yesterday. It was kind of a journaling workshop. We're starting movie nights once a month, and we have a ladies book club that really took off. So they're not only for people in recovery, but they're recovery centered. So also for people who have someone in their life that is going through or has been in recovery. So that is it. I just wanted to let you guys know we're here. We will be reaching out to Northville High School to see if they're interested in the alternative to suspension program as well. And all my kids went through Northville schools and went through Northville High School. So I'm hoping that we can have some kind of collaboration with them as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Make sure you get something over to the clerk, name of the organization and the contact.
Okay.
So that'd be
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you. Anything else other than what's on the agenda, which is the chickens and the roosters tonight? Going once, going twice? Okay, I'm closing off here in council chambers. If you could let them know how to raise their hand electronically online. We have usually a lot more people online on large meetings, 50 to 100. And if they want to make a comment on this, please let them know.
For those calling in for public comment, the instructions are at the top of the agenda. We will call on you using the last 4 digits of your phone number. Please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 2 minutes for your comments.
Great.
And currently there's no one online.
Okay, I'll give it another minute. If we find somebody that raises their hand in the next minute or so, sometimes it's a little delay of a couple seconds. So you don't see all of them that's on there. But
Are there people in the audience?
There's just these 2 computers.
wow, that's very unusual. Good. Well, not good, but we must have handled all their questions this week. This is very unusual. I'm sure we didn't. Okay, so I am closing off those that are online tonight for comments on this. I'll open it up again when we get to the animal ordinance. Okay, so with that, we have done with number 5. How many written comments? Did we have any that came in?
Just 2.
Okay, 2, and you have that, and nothing came in after 4 o'clock today?
No.
Great. And those are online, so if you want to see the comments or written comments that people came in with, they're online and public knowledge for all, and you have those all in your packages, as we always say. I expect everybody to read all their packages before that they come in here, and I didn't see anything come in after 4. So now we will go to number 6, and this is the consent agenda. In general, minutes and from the previous meeting, the department reports, a lot of Allen Terrace stuff here. We have the Allen Terrace director, just in case, grocery carts regulations up there, and the decor, and where the furniture is, where you first come in, and the duct cleaning. These are very exciting things, but we have to put them on our deal. So anything to add or delete from here?
Mayor?
Yes.
I don't think this requires a change here, but I would just just like to direct to the clerk that there is a lot on Allen Terrace. And D does say Allen Terrace lease revision, but E, F, and F don't say it's for Allen Terrace. So when the minutes are done that list them,
Good catch.
if it could just be put in there. It's written in the paragraph below, but generally it's only the title. So,
When in doubt,
but
put it
other
back
than that, just to clarify it.
Great.
All right.
Good catch. Good. So that is what's on there, and that's all your world. I know you represent us up in Allen Terrace. Anything else on that? If not, I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda that's on there.
I move to accept the consent agenda as submitted. I'll support.
So we have motion and support. Any other discussion on this? Seeing none, I think we can do this. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Great. We have a consent agenda. You have everything going for Allen Terrace out there. Good. So now we are going to be dazzled by a presentation from the Northville Art House, and Laura Giannetti represents us there, and she wanted you to come here. Come right up to the microphone. I think it's a tag team tonight. And just to let us know what's going on now and what your plans are in the future. I was looking at that. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm sure we'll get another copy. We have it electronically in front of us, but that's great. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sue Taylor. I am facing a very different group of people than I faced 20 years ago. I joined the city's Arts Commission as a volunteer in 1997. The last time I stood at this spot was over 20 years ago when we petitioned the city to let us turn what was then the senior center into an arts center, because the seniors were moving into the newly renovated community center across the street. We knew we were embarking on an experiment, The Arts Commission was a volunteer organization formed in 1980 and primarily focused on an annual art festival held during Victorian Festival, the summer concert series, and a few art history lectures. But we felt we could do so much more for the city. So the city at that time agreed to our mission toward the end of 2003. It took over a year for a small army of volunteers to plan and renovate the building. We received no funding. Renovations were primarily through donations and sweat, but we were encouraged by a few people in the city who did believe in us. Nikki Bateson, who at that time was the city's chief financial officer, Barbara's husband, who was a member of the Stone Gang, and he became our carpenter, and Tracy Sincock, who is the director of Parks and Recreation, and she advised us. In March of 2005, we opened to the public. I will never forget that grand opening and our first exhibit. We had no idea what to expect, but when we opened our doors that evening to the public, there was actually a line down Katy Street waiting, people waiting to get into the building. It was quite a sight and a very moving experience, and we knew that we were onto something special for our community. A cultural institution was important to the people of Northville. Fast forward more than 20 years later, here I am and we are probably the longest running tenant in that building since it was built in 1964. We still offer monthly exhibits, but we now also offer other activities, classes, workshops, camps for preschoolers, children, teens, and adults. We offer outreach to senior living facilities. We offer programs for special need groups. We offer a children's choral group who has performed at the Marquis Theater. We offer art history programs and so much more. All of these programs contribute to the health and vitality of the Northville community because they bring joy to the people, but they also bring economic opportunity and vibrancy to our city. I bring this to your attention because as you plan for the future, please realize that we are as vital to our community as our library, our theaters, restaurants, businesses, retail, parks, and bike lanes. The activities of the Art House bring people into our city, so we support all those entities. We would like to grow, and we know we need city support. This is where you come in. As you plan for the future, please keep us in mind. We have been here for over 20 years, and our outreach continues to grow. We would like to cement our place in Northville. I will now turn this over to our Executive Director, Shannon Carroll, who will show you some statistics of our reach to not only our community, but the surrounding region as well. But before that, I would like to give you some background information about our Executive Director, because I think it's important to our story and the lore of Northville. Shannon was hired about 3 years ago, and she doesn't know what I'm going to say. She was hired about 3 years ago after our previous director had moved on. At that time, Shannon was Director of Museum Education and Community Engagement at the Kalamazoo Institute of Arts. Before that, she was the Director of Education at the Speed Art Museum in Kentucky. Before that, she was the Assistant Programming Director at the Cincinnati Art Museum. And before that, she was with the Dallas Museum of Art. After college, she interned at the Kresge Art Museum in East Lansing. And before she progressed through her profession, she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Michigan. And this was after she graduated from Northville High School. So the Northville Art House brought her home. We're lucky to have her, and Northville is lucky to have the Art House. So please think about the economic and cultural impact the Art House provides to the city as you plan for Northville's future. And now it's Shannon's turn to illustrate the value of the Art House to the city. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sue.
Welcome, Shannon. From one Northville lane to another. Great to see you.
So thank you all for your time this evening. And as tenants and stewards of the building that we're in, we just thought it was a good opportunity to kind of highlight what we've been doing across the street. This has sort of been our crusade for the past year, is just raising awareness of the Art House and making sure people realize how much we've grown over the last 3 years. So if we could have the next slide,
Great.
please. So the Northville Art House mission is that we inspire a creative community through engagement with the arts. We are a place for everyone to learn, discover, belong, connect, and create. Next slide, please. The next 2 slides just kind of give a little bit of our history, a lot of which Sue has already outlined. So we can skip over those 2 slides. To the slide that talks about the 3 E's, which is how I like to summarize what it is that we do at the Art House.
You're working it over there.
We host exhibitions, we host events, and we host educational programs. And next slide, please. I'll start with our exhibitions, which basically swap out every month in our gallery space. We have approximately 1,000 square feet where we show artworks by local and regional artists. And one of the things in the packet that I gave to you is our 2025 impact report, which states that in 2025, we hosted 35 exhibitions across 3 sites. And those 3 sites are our Northville Art House Gallery, the Tuscan Cafe, and then right here in City Hall, right outside the DDA offices, we display artwork by local artists there as well. In 2025, in those 35 exhibitions, we showed 925 artworks by 409 artists. And those artists are not just coming from Northville. They're coming from across the state of Michigan, and especially for our fall exhibitions, which happen annually, we attract artists from as far away as Nebraska, Connecticut, New York City. So the Art House has more than just regional appeal. We are known on a nationwide level as a space where artists want to show their work. In addition to those monthly exhibits in our gallery, we also have an artisan store, again, where we're selling work by local and regional artists. Next slide, please. I'm not sure what's coming next.
You will catch up.
Okay.
This is how we
So
do this.
you can, he'll catch up. You can start talking about it.
Theatrical play. Yeah.
You
Presentation.
might as well hit that go before, she even tells you next time. Go.
This, when it pops up, is our exhibition calendar for 2025. I'd love to invite you all to join us this Saturday, February 21st, for the opening of our newest exhibition. The Chelsea Painters, a group who works out of the Chelsea, Michigan area, have rented our gallery for the last half of February and beginning of March, and they'll be in the Art House on Saturday for their opening reception. Please stop by between 12 and 2 p.m. Our next exhibition after that, towards the second half of March, will be the annual exhibition of the Northville High School International Baccalaureate Art students. It's an exhibition that we look forward to every year, and it's a great opportunity for them to kind of have their culminating project. They take over the gallery, they design the layout, decide who gets to exhibit where, and it's a really fun 2 weeks at the Art House while we get to display their artworks.
Was that going on when you were in high school?
It was not. I was a band kid though, so I didn't get to take that class. So, yes. So I would have loved a space like the Art House when I was in high school, but it wasn't around yet. So
Education is the next.
What's that?
Education's the next one.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So in terms
We
of
do have it in front of us, if that happens.
We do.
beautiful, there it is.
And you have different ones. There we go.
So our educational programs make up the bulk of what we do at the Art House. Yes, we display works by artists, but we're also teaching the next generation of artists and helping them build up those skills so that they can someday display their works either at Tuscan Cafe or in our Art House galleries. As Sue mentioned, we offer classes starting as young as preschool all the way through adults. I like to say that we have classes from the ages of 2 to 102 and everyone in between. Again, there are some statistics up on that screen for our 2025 numbers. In 2025, we offered 71 classes, which meet on a weekly basis. We offered 93 workshops, which are one time, typically anywhere from 2 to 6 hours, and 14 different summer camps. And a total of 1,118 students registered for those programs. And many of those students took multiple classes, camps, and workshops. We also host an after-school art program in 5 of the 6 Northville elementary schools. We have a monthly preschool play date for 2 to 5-year-olds and their favorite grown-ups. During those play dates, we read a story, we do a scavenger hunt, and we make an art project that relates to the artworks on view in the gallery. We also host art history lectures. That is my background. I have a degree in art history, so I teach art history classes and do quarterly lectures. We also have other presentations by invited speakers, as well as a bi-monthly book club that we host in conjunction with the Northville District Library. So I work together with one of the librarians to select art world focused books, and we have a robust group of about 15 people who join us every other month to have great discussions. Next slide, please. So the third pillar of what we do at the Art House are our events. We realize that people may be interested in art, but may not feel compelled to make it or may not be interested in buying it. So we consider these sort of our art curious events, or things that people who, enjoy art but don't want to make it have an opportunity to come and engage with us. And all of our annual events are listed on this slide. We have our annual Young Artist Art Fair every spring. This year it will be held on May 9th, the Saturday of Mother's Day weekend. Every fall, we turn our backyard into a doggy daycare for painting with paws, where we paint your pet's paws and turn their paw prints into one-of-a-kind works of art. Every fall, we do tours of Oakwood Cemetery, conveniently located right next door to the Art House. We have an excellent greeter and tour guide in Mayor Turnbull, who leads groups.
Thank you very much.
Cemetery every year. And we have costumed actors in the cemetery who are interpreting and sharing the history of some of Northville's founding families through that annual event. And then every winter, we have some sort of family event at the Art House. We typically call it There's No Place Like Northville, just an opportunity for families to come, get in the holiday spirit, and make some holiday memories. And we rely heavily on a network of volunteers to make all of these events run successfully. Next slide, please. But by and large, our largest event every year is our 3-day art fair, which we call the Northville Art House Art Market. It will be hosted this year, August 14th through 16th on Main and Center Streets in downtown Northville. We took a hiatus in 2024, but came back full force last year with 100 vendors lining the streets. One of the things that we'll see in a minute is a zip code report that shows where these artists come from. But it's interesting to note that for the art market especially, 20% of our artists last year came from out of state, and 76% of them came from other areas of Michigan outside of Northville. So just to highlight Sue's point, these are artists who are coming in, renting hotel rooms, visiting our restaurants, in addition to all of the people coming to town to visit the art market as shoppers as well. So it has a huge economic impact for our city, and we're very excited to be able to host it again downtown this summer. Next slide, please. The main reason we wanted to come this evening was to share 2 recent grant opportunities that we've received over the past 2 years that have allowed us to shift our focus to what I'm calling creative aging. And that is a term that is out there in the art world and in the museum field, providing opportunities for people over the age of, they classify it broadly as 55 and over. And in the past 2 years, we've received 2 grants that have allowed us to introduce these programs at the Art House. In 2025, we received a grant from the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan to launch a program that we call Artful Moments. Artful Moments allows us to take the Art House experience out of our doors into retirement communities and senior centers across Southeast Michigan. It started at Willow Pines right here in Northville, but we have gone as far away as Lake Orion and Brighton and Ann Arbor with this program. Each Artful Moments program combines an art history presentation, which I give, with an art making workshop, which is led by one of our instructors. We launched the program in May of 2025 and presented it 37 times between May and December of last year, with a total of 413 people participating in the program. The grant funding has since run out, but we have 4 partner communities that are continuing to bring us back in 2026. 2 of those are here in Northville, 1 is in Ann Arbor, and 1 is in Farmington Hills. Next slide, please. And then our newest creative aging initiative is one that we launched in January, thanks to a grant from Culture Source, which is based out of Detroit. We were invited to be part of a cohort that learned about memory cafes, which are informal gathering spaces for people experiencing cognitive challenges and their caregivers, whether that is a friend, a spouse, a child, a professional caregiver. And starting in January, the Art House is now offering 2 memory cafe programs a month. One focused on visual art and one focused on music. Sue mentioned our children's chorale. We have an instructor who's deeply embedded in the musical community in Southeast Michigan, Ann Dominy. When I left the art house to come over here, she was teaching a group of 7 to 11-year-olds about songwriting. So Ann is very much entrenched in what we're doing at the art house, as is music. And so we wanted to use that to our advantage. And we know that music has profound impact for people suffering from memory loss, and is a great way to trigger memory and communication and connection. And that idea of connection is really the passion point behind these memory cafes, giving these people a chance to come, be outside of the house for an hour and a half, connect with others who are going through similar challenges, but also just have a moment to experience joy and to laugh and to sing and to create. We've not had a great turnout attendance-wise for the 3 we've hosted so far, but that means we can only grow. And so we look forward to continuing our Memory Cafe programs as we continue through the rest of 2026 as well. This is just a quick slide, which I will not go through every partner, but it does highlight the different community partnerships and related projects that we've undertaken over the past 3 years since I joined the Art House. We have strong connections. I've mentioned many of them already this evening, especially the Northville District Library, Northville Public Schools, the Northville Youth Network. We do after-school Wellness Wednesday workshops with them. The Kids Table has been a great partner, offering scholarships for students to attend our summer camps. And in the past year or so, we've also been working directly with the Sustainability Committee and Rise and Write Northville, hosting writing workshops in our gallery where people are writing poems and short stories inspired by artworks on view in the art house. Next slide, please. And so this is just, I've mentioned some of these statistics already, but this is our 2025 impact and demographics. We had over 20,000 people participate in art house programs and events last year. That includes visitors to our gallery, students in our classes, and program participants. 40% of the population that we serve across those programs comes from Northville and Northville Township. 64% of our student population specifically is under the age of 15. So we really are working with the next generation of great artists. And the average age of an adult art house student, and we say adult is 16 and over for the purposes of our classes, is 54. 79% of our student population is female, 21% is male, and we currently have 322 active members in our membership program. Next slide, please. So you have a prettier version of this on the impact report that I handed to you before we started talking, but this does show across our different program areas how much of our participation comes from Northville and Northville Township. So this is broken down by our different programs. 55% of our preschool playdate participants come from Northville. 78% of our after-school art program participants come from Northville. You may be wondering why it is not 100%, because Thornton Creek is one of the elementary schools we serve, and most of those students have Novi zip codes. And then the other big one to point out, as I said, is our art market, where just 3% of our artists come from Northville or Northville Township. 20% of them come from out of state. And then you can see just to the left of that, our exhibition artists, 15 of the artists who show in our exhibits each year come from out of state as well. Slide, please. This is that same information, just in a pie chart, showing again that 40% of our population comes from Northville in sort of the bluish purple on the top right. And the pinkish quadrant is Northville Township. Slide, please. And then this is zip code by zip code. You can see how far Northville and Northville Township stretch across the bottom there. But what we like about this particular infographic is that it shows that a large percentage of our students are also coming from places like Ann Arbor, Walled Lake, Farmington and Farmington Hills. Yes, we know we're serving a lot of people from Plymouth and Novi, but it's nice to see those farther afield zip codes as well.
Yes.
Next slide, please. So if you've not visited the Art House lately, I would love for you to stop in. We'll be there tomorrow from 11 to 3. And as I said, we have that opening reception on Saturday from 12 to 2. That's a great way to come and see firsthand what we're doing. We also have our spring classes starting next week. So if you're looking to learn how to draw or paint or sing, we have opportunities for that this spring as well. We have lots of great artwork for sale. And I mentioned our membership program. That's another great way to get involved and support the Art House. All of our members get discounts in our store. They get discounts on classes. But as a member, you also get to submit one artwork annually for our members exhibition, which is a big perk for our members as well. Then you can volunteer, follow us on social media, and join our email mailing list. And then our last slide is just our contact information. We've shared with you this evening everything that we do, and I just want to stress that we do that with a team of 2 full-time staff members and a really supportive board. But there are just 2 of us who are keeping the wheels from falling off of this bus on a daily basis. But we are both very passionate about the work that we do at the Art House. We both love this community. I'm so grateful to be home in Northville and doing what I love and doing it in a place that I love. So thank you again for your time this evening, and hopefully we will see you at the Art House soon.
Great. You can stay right there. I'll ask for comments here, but first, I want to thank you for your enthusiasm and for coming back to Northville and bringing that enthusiasm and all that background that we just heard about.
Thank you.
I think you've done wonders too to the cemetery tour. It's been fun. We're trying to catch up with you and, redo everything in the cemetery. And we have a whole cemetery task force that we are redoing every stone, and we had to hurry up to get things going for your deal. It was the impetus to get it done. And I think it'll be even greater this year once we have the wrought iron fencing, and Councilperson Krenz is in charge of that whole thing, and he is pushing it going forward. But that has been a great deal. And as we get ready for our bicentennial, you've talked about all these great things in the past. What are your great plans as we get ready in 2027? You talked about the art market and other things that should be bigger than Ben-Hur and the bicentennial tour. What are your plans for the next year or so?
Yeah, so continuing to grow the art market and continuing to grow what we're offering at the Art House. We're always looking for new instructors to come in and teach new subject areas that we're not currently offering. We have someone teaching digital drawing for the first time right now. So just continuing to grow and expand what we do and how we define art. It doesn't just have to be visual arts to happen at the Art House. That's why we have the children's chorale and these musical programs too. So
thank you. It's the full art deal. Okay, that's all I have, but thank you for all you do. I like the enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Good. Others, anything else?
I just want to say, John was with this group for so long, and I got lucky enough to be a part of it. Not very artsy, but my first meeting, I was very nervous to go in, and I cannot believe how really put together the program is. Like the whole thing is amazing that you're doing over there.
thank you.
And yes, happy to be a part of it.
And John, from our previous representative.
Well, Jim.
Yes, you've done a fabulous job. Fabulous job.
Stay in your lane.
Very crafty.
Hey, I served before both.
Here we go.
I'll go next. I will admit I am extraordinarily biased when it comes to the Art House. My wife worked at the Art House and actually helped lead the Arts and Acts, now Art Market, back in the day. And then I did have the fortune of serving as a liaison, and I miss all of you. The one thing I wanted to highlight is just the partnership. I think that is an amazing set of, when we talk about First Press, DDA, Library, Public Schools, Youth Network, and I'm not going to try to remember the whole list. But when you talk about that, 20,000 plus people being impacted, it is absolutely incredible. And I truly believe it's not overstating that the arts and culture is at the core of our community. And so us continuing to look for opportunities to partner, I think is so important. I think we are very blessed that you have an incredible group of commissioners and an amazing director in terms of the organization today. So it is in really strong hands, and it's really exciting to see where it's headed, frankly, not just where it's been from a group. So thank you for all that you do. And then in terms of moving forward, obviously you highlighted grants. I think partnerships, anything we can do to figure out how the city can help foster, support, enable those partnerships is important. Brian gave a plug, but bicentennial. I know we had spoken about that previously. Definitely want to stay connected through that. And then just general marketing support, anything the city can do. But I think the more we can lean into supporting the Art House, the better.
And I will mention, I didn't say this when answering the mayor's question, but our exhibition committee met last week. We have a group of volunteers who kind of vet and give the green light to exhibits for our gallery space. And we have given the go-ahead for a Northville themed exhibition to be up during the closing weeks of the bicentennial in 2027.
Right.
So parameters still to be determined, but there will be something celebrating Northville through art at the Art House for the bicentennial.
I should also point out that the first committee or task force I joined, it was Sue and her husband actually recommended the Economic Development Committee, me getting involved a long time ago on that, which has led to about 30,000 hours worth of work. So I don't know whether to say thank you on
Yeah.
that front, but there is a history that goes back beyond that as well.
It's an opportunity.
Great. And the previous kind of.
Yeah, well, that was, when I was liaison, it was during the transition to the 501c3.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit and the paperwork got, that was, yeah. But so I've been a member for too long to count, a couple decades, and it's just a wonderful organization. But when I see the steady growth, but at some point it became a log curve. In the past 5 or 6 years, the offerings that you were building over time grew, and it's just such a gem and an asset to our community. So I support everything that John said, Laura. I fully support, and I really appreciate your coming with this presentation tonight.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
And Councilperson Friends.
Since I haven't been a liaison, I'll introduce
Who has
myself.
never been a liaison?
Yet. Maybe my time comes in the future, but Sue,
may.
again, and thank you. This is very helpful to me, who's somebody who's more adjacent to what you've done. I'm the liaison for the youth network, and I know the work you've done with them has been exceptional. Keep that going. And then also, the mayor already said it, but the cemetery event is first class.
Yeah.
And if everybody gets a chance to see it, they should, because it's the other part of our history that maybe we're finally starting to recognize and celebrate more with everything that you're doing too, in terms of, what's going on over at Oakwood. So outstanding. And then also the creative aging programs, I think are fantastic. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
So we thank you. Any comments from those in council? We've tried to hit the bases here. We thank you tremendously. You can see, you touch each and every one of the council people, one way or another, how we support you, and we're going to continue to do that. And looking forward to wild and exciting things for the bicentennial, as you mentioned.
Thank
too.
you. We appreciate it. And thank you again for your time this
You
evening.
bet. And just mention, do we have anybody online with a hand raiser right now? Great,
or in
Okay.
here, or here.
great. Well, not great, but okay.
Thank you.
So I'm closing off this section. We are going now
Did he?
to the next area. We've gone from presentations.
Oh,
Yep, I just opened up, public did not have any input on that because we covered all the bases. Thank you, council members. New business, we have two things on new business. Justin, first, A in your package is consideration of the second reading and adoption of amendment to chapter 10 of the article, the Code of Ordinances of Animals. We've already went through this. You got the input and you've gone to the next level. Tell us a little bit about what we're talking about. This is a second reading and we will have a motion going forward tonight.
Sure. So good evening, Mayor and Council. At your last meeting, you introduced this ordinance amendment to Chapter 10, Article 1. It regulates animals in the city. I'm not going to go through the ordinance because you did that in detail at your last meeting. At that time, there were a number of potential changes that council discussed. And so in your packet, you'll see a clean copy of the ordinance as presented at the introduction. That's what's recommended to adopt tonight. If you are inclined to make modifications, there are sample amendment motions, and those are optional. So the main motion is on page 1 of the staff report. Council would put that on the floor for discussion of the ordinance.
Right.
And then if there's amendments proposed, you would take action through each of those separate amendment motions.
Right.
If you have questions on the ordinance, I'd be glad to answer them.
Great. So questions to begin with, and I've talked to a lot of the communities, even today, Canton, you have to have over 1 acre to have any chickens, and in different sections. We're trying to be pretty open. Anybody in Northville can have various fowl. We're all fowl one way or another. But from that standpoint, we are a little bit more open on that than, there's different regulations depending on where you're at. Usually it's land use and sections in town, but, we had those discussions. Thank you for some of the modifications. And we will, as Justin mentioned, look at that motion. We will, have a motion and seconded, and then we'll look at any addendum to go to that if there's input, as you mentioned. But thank you for putting that into the package. But thank you for your work. I know you did some additions and deletions since last time, and got all these little magnets, rooster magnets.
We all got
We
rooster
appreciate that.
magnets.
Absolutely. So comments from those, we had a lot of discussion before and looking at what you modified. Thanks for the input. So others, go right ahead, Barbara.
I think you should make the motion to
Motion.
put
Oh,
it
yeah.
on the floor.
Okay, well, so before we do that, I'm going to have public comment and then we will have the motion and then we will talk about if there's any discussion on the addendum. So anybody here to talk about the chicken ordinance?
Well, it's the animals ordinance.
The animal ordinance. We are
Not
talking
only
more about
about
the chickens.
chickens.
It is the animal ordinance, but this is a section on chickens and roosters pretty much.
No, the latter part is also about
Bunny.
larger livestock.
Okay.
Don't forget the bunnies. Yes.
I think this is one we can let.
I think we're not gonna have any fall on this, so it's
All right, here
tell
we
us a
go
little
again.
bit more. This is for the roosters, the bunnies, the chickens. And we're not doing the whole animal ordinance in Northville with,
So we targeted,
Horses and dogs.
3 sections for
Yeah.
amendment. Section 10.7 requires currently that the city council appoint a veterinarian. There's never been a time that I could find in the history of Northville that that's been done, so we changed the word shall to may.
right?
The section 10.10 is the keeping of rabbits and poultry.
Right.
And then section 10.11 is horses and other farm animals. Well, those are the only 3 sections that we're looking at.
So are we opening up for how are we doing this? One
So
at
I'm
a
going-
time?
First, nope, I'm going to have any comment from those in the audience. And then we're going to make the motion and then we'll have comments on that. Anybody here that would like to talk about the animal ordinance here? Come right up to the microphone, full name and address. That'd be great.
My name is John Forsland, 350 Lake Street. And I just wanted to mention a couple things about the proposed ordinance or the revisions. Is that I know that Barbara had said last week about maybe the roosters being covered by the noise ordinance.
Mhm.
I'm just pointing out, say, inconsistencies in the ordinances.
Sure.
And that is that, the ordinances you have on 10.3, which is not up for discussion, but you have about dogs and barking and things like that. So it specifically deals with nuisance, kind of animals, accepted animals in town. But on the other hand, they're not dealt with in the noise ordinance at all. Dogs, nothing. There's nothing. And one thing that I would suggest is that somehow be some consistency between the two. But the other thing is that a lot of much of the stuff in the ordinances is very subjective. So, for example, in the ordinance, the proposals, it's things like, the animals don't annoy anybody or things like this. Whereas I would suggest that you guys have a more objective measure. For example, other townships and cities have had decibel levels. And so you would say, and I've taken we have one of the infamous roosters, and who is, as far as I understand from your discussion, he is legacied in. And so I've been taking lots of decibel readings around Horton and Lake Street. And
I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish your thought.
Oh,
But
I
yeah, you
didn't
have
know
2
I was
minutes
on the
to-
clock.
You are.
Okay. All right. Well, other places will say 55 decibels from the complainant, from their property line. So I think that's something more objective. I'm not here to defend the roosters. Okay, I'm not. I'm seriously not. I'm not here to say that moving forward that roosters be prohibited or they be retained. I'm not taking a position on that. But I do think that there should be a more objective stance when you were talking about noise. So what is noise and who is it noise to? And the other places do have this. So it's usually 55 decibels or 3 decibels above the ambient noise, which at an intersection can be far above 55 decibels. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And we all have a noise decibel thing. You might not have it out
I'd
there.
love to know
Yep.
what the decibel
And
of the rooster.
Again, that's a great point.
Well,
Not
that's,
that this is a Q&A, but if you have a rooster, you are legacied into it. So if you have a rooster, you will keep the rooster in life out there. And we have decibels from leghorn roosters that are 95 decibels at 3 feet. And that's the equivalent of lawnmowers are at 90 and leaf blowers at 90. So we have the whole
that's
list in front.
that's at 3 feet,
Yeah, that's 3
Brian.
feet. No, I just looked down that. There's many columns here. So
Yes.
we got it. We think,
know-
we looked at every decibel level for every sound or
Within 3 feet.
yeah, so we have 3 feet, we have 15 feet. I mean, if you're walking by on that sidewalk, I've heard them, it's a great day to wake up in the morning on a run. But yeah, we have 15 feet and in general, but I just did that one. So thank you very much. Great information.
Yeah.
Anybody else from the audience that would like to speak? 2 minutes, full name and address. I will always let you finish your thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, Lucy Klinkhammer, 430 Lake Street.
Yep, get that right up to Lucy's.
I just, I know I spoke at the last one. I still think that the feet that you're talking about, 30 feet, our lots in Cabbagetown are pretty small. And I think that would be too restricting. And also talking about the fact that the animals need to be in the backyard and don't always have a backyard, okay? I think that's getting a little too specific. So I sort of object to that. I think 30 feet is too generous there. I mean, too much. The other thing I wanted to say was, so you're going to grandfather in the existing roosters? There's nothing in here that says that in the ordinance, but.
It is.
I believe we'll have
It
that
is.
question. I think it is
Yeah.
in there, but we'll look at
Well, I
that.
didn't see it, but,
We'll have Justin come back and
okay,
explain that.
all right.
We are not taking any roosters away today. We're not doing that. Anybody else in, and you will justify that in a second. Anybody else in council chambers? Going once, going twice? I'm closing off council chambers. Anybody online with their hand up for the Roosters of Life? Okay. Justin, so on that, before we have discussion, we're going to do the motion and then we will discuss those different things. The grandfathering in of the roosters, that is in the policies.
That's handled under a separate section of the ordinance that addresses nonconformities. So anything that is currently existing is considered legal nonconforming. And the rooster lives out its life, they can continue to do that. But then any new animals have to comply with the ordinance. And then I just wanted to clarify that the existing noise ordinance does prohibit any animal noise or bird noise that is a nuisance. So whether it's a dog, whether it's a goose, whatever it is, a cat, it
So to
doesn't
the dogs
matter.
barking, which could be at that
Yeah,
decibel.
it's not in the animals ordinance,
general.
it's in the nuisances
Okay,
ordinance. So
okay.
it specifically prohibits animal noises that are a nuisance, and a rooster crowing is generally considered a nuisance. If you look at communities that allow chickens, 95% of them prohibit roosters. You can
Right.
see in our staff report, we've outlined reasons why we recommend retaining the prohibition of roosters. We don't have the capacity to enforce no crow collars on roosters and monitoring their noise levels.
So I noticed you put that, so I made two statements related to sound and one was following up from a question I asked you. I mentioned that there were collars that restricted the sound, but my next breath was, but they can be a problem for the rooster, health risk, because you have to check them every day. So I was not recommending it because having it, just because there's a remedy doesn't mean it's a good remedy. So I do not, that, just for the record, I was not recommending a collar for a rooster. The other I mentioned, and it was just brought up in that was, I had asked questions is this covered under a sound ordinance or time of day ordinance? Because we have that in general for other things. And you've clarified that it falls under the nuisance. But that's also in the eye of the beholder or listener. There's not a criteria, whether it's a dog or somebody that runs a leaf blower every day, or it's a rooster. It's if it bothers somebody, if it's perceived as a nuisance by an individual. Is that correct?
All right, it would really be determined by the administrator of the ordinance. And so if I made a determination that something was a nuisance, there's remedies to, or redress to appeal determination of the ordinance.
As I suspect over time, people have happened to, I'm blessed that nothing on my street, but I do hear it in distances where dogs that are chronic barkers. I like dogs, so it doesn't bother me, but I do hear them. Unfortunately, I cannot hear any of the roosters. I would like to, but I can't.
So we will go to the motion, have discussion on that motion, and then we'll have, the different amendment.
Wait,
Also,
Are we going
get,
one by one?
so we will do the motion on that, and then if anybody wants addendums to that motion, like we did for the signs down at the Downs, and that's what we've done. So we did look up roosters, just for your information, last about 10 years. So somebody got a new rooster, they have a 10-year life. And I'm sure some of these roosters are going to last a lot longer than that are out there already. But
We'll never know.
yeah, we'll never know. But so if you have a rooster right now, it looks like it's a 10-year life of a rooster average. Some go to 14 years, which is unbelievable. We had to do that. We know a lot about roosters and chicken, more than we did before. Thank you. Yes. A lot of follow. So with that, why don't you just read the motion that's in the package? I know you have it in front of you and we do, but so everybody knows online too, so they don't have to look it up.
So the main motion, which is the recommended motion, is move to approve the second reading and adopt the amendment to Chapter 10, Article 1, Sections 7, 10, and 11 of the Code of Ordinances as.
Okay, so would anybody like to go forward with that? I'm going to ask for that motion and support, and then we're not going to vote on that. We're going to then have discussion on that. And then if there's anything to add to that motion, the addendum to that. So the motion, you could even say, so moved. You don't have to recite the whole motion. You can if you want. I'm asking for, do we have that motion?
So moved.
So moved. So we have a motion. Do we have support for that motion? Support. Right now, no vote. Anything on this motion before we get to any of the addendums? So we're going to do, you put a few of the addendums below this, correct?
Correct.
Just a point of clarification, because I think this is the proper way to do it, and
Yes.
just to make sure
Right.
we're getting it right. So what are we, because we're going to be talking about each of the ones that Justin very helpfully outlined here in terms of the.
We'll ask if there's a motion, if there's support for that, we will talk about it.
On those individual.
Right, individual,
That
yes.
comes next.
Yes.
So what are we voting to approve now?
So we're not voting anything.
Putting it on the floor.
We're just.
Just putting
this
it on
up.
the
Yeah, we're just putting this on the floor.
We're
Yeah.
following Robert.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're putting this on the floor. If you have anything on this motion that you'd like to discuss, the motion that's out there, then we're gonna, there's like 3 or 4 different addendums to that motion. If we have the motion support, we'll talk about that. If we don't have support about that, we will not. So anything on the main motion, we talked quite a bit a couple weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Anything on this main
Yeah,
motion?
Mayor, maybe I'll.
Go right ahead.
This might go later, but
Sure.
just a couple comments, did some work on this, talked to a few people, got a few responses to it.
Okay.
Couple things in terms of humane methods for silencing roosters. The collars seem to come up frequently, but those soft adjustable collars need daily checks. They can choke, they can limit breathing. Keep them in a cool, dark, reasonable space until a reasonable hour. That might be a bit challenging. Also solid insulating walls in the coop, but that's only while they're in the coop. It's inhumane for debarking and devocalization surgery, shock devices, physical restraint or beak alteration or starvation. So there doesn't seem to be any particular elegant way from preventing the rooster from doing what the rooster does. So there's some good points that were brought up here that maybe I'll just share for the council to think here on why roosters as opposed to dogs or leaf blowers. And it took me a while to kind of get my arms around that too, because those are very fair. So why curtail it? It's the idea of the ongoing nuisance versus temporary and seasonal activity that has some backing in ordinance. So for example, landscaping work. Landscaping, I have had landscaping at my neighbor's house before 7 a.m. on a Saturday. when I was out having fun on Friday, and I was not super excited about that. That was outside of the ordinance, but that at least has some support in terms of maintaining lot and hours of operation should that be enforced. So we are required to mow our lawns and keep them at, or maybe not mow them, but keep our yards at reasonable lengths. So it's generally understood that you're going to be using noises from leaf blowers and from lawnmowers to come into compliance with the ordinance there. So that would be my differentiation between leaf blowers and roosters. Then with respect to dogs and chickens, dogs are often governed by duration of noise. Dogs will often bark, howl at the moon and go for quite some time, whereas roosters are infrequent, higher pitch, and can be as or slightly louder than other dogs and can be early in the morning. So it's generally understood, and you've already brought it up, that dogs are considered to be known domestic animals and are governed under nuisance standards where chickens and the other animals in this ordinance are not. And then ultimately the goal here for us, and I am a big fan of quantifying noise on decibel levels. We've done this in generators, setting generator ordinance with BZA and put a lot of work into that so we can get rid of the subjectiveness, which I'm in full support of. It should be quantitative in terms of decibel reading. And maybe we get there over time, but I think our goal for tonight is going to be reasonable regulation and rational basis versus equal loudness across all sources. That's probably going to be maybe our governing principle as we get into discussion. So I just want the community to know those are the three things that I'm looking at here as I go forward.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Krenz. Anything else? You probably handled some of the stuff that we're going to talk on the amendments.
Yes. So, sorry if that overlaps.
Anything on this before we talk about specifics?
Because we're going to go through each of the specifics.
If it's approved, if you do a motion and support.
Then we go through the specifics.
That's correct.
So typically what you would do during the discussion, people could make motions, but if no one wants to make a motion on something, then it just.
Yeah, we could move on. If we don't have support of that motion, we move on. We did that on the fence and the different activities on the fence down at the Downs and some others. Yep.
Well, there, I see 8 listed here.
Yep.
And
So we'll go.
we're going to go, yeah, so there's 8.
So each one of those will be 8 topics. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about that. Anything in general?
And you don't have to go through all 8. Those were just comments that.
Those are just comments.
Right. Yeah, those are comments from the first meeting. Everything that was listed, maybe we'll have you say it. If there's anybody,
Well,
I will probably
Let's
look down.
jump into number 1.
Yeah, let's jump in. Number 1, why don't you read number 1 for us? So everybody can hear it in council chambers too.
Move to amend the main motion to revise the title of section 1010 to read poultry and rabbits.
I have no desire to do
They
that.
had suggested because it's consistent. It was switched the wrong way when it was originally written. That's it.
Okay.
So would you like to go forward with that addendum? If I'll see if we have support for it.
That makes sense.
Okay, so we have a motion on that addendum. Do we have any support for that one? Going once, going twice?
So what is the,
It's
when you say it was wrong initially?
because
Sorry, I'm taking
so every time it's mentioned in the text,
Oh, it's just flipping.
it was poultry and rabbits. I mean, and it's numerous times. And so it's just making the
Consistency
cadence.
between
Yeah,
the
that's all it
language.
is. There's no substantive.
So we have a motion and support once, twice. We keep that for it. What's the second one? We'll just do them really quick, all 8 of them.
Move to amend the main motion to require that an individual residing in the dwelling may raise or keep poultry or rabbits with approval from the property owner.
I agree with that one. Change.
Can I get a comment from Tony on that? Because this was something I brought up. I just want to make sure that we're not creating a tiered class of ownership with people at an address.
So you can explain that again. That is, if somebody's renting your house, you have to have concurrence with that is the way it was.
Yeah, I think this is totally permissible, and the permission from the property owner could come one of 2 ways. Either it could be done as the tenant requests it, or the landlord could put it in their lease to explicitly allow their tenant to do it. And so I really don't see any issue with this. I think it is probably a good idea.
Thank you, Tony.
Okay, good. So do we have a motion to?
So
go forward
moved.
with that? Okay, do we have support for that?
Support.
Okay. I think we can, yes.
So you could do discussion on this and
Yeah.
then.
I think we kind of did, but yeah, discussion on this, and then I'm going to do a roll call vote on this, or we'll see.
Seems reasonable. We should be
Yep.
treating everyone the
Yep.
same way.
Right.
Support it.
I am supportive of this minor addition to it. Anybody else on this? Okay.
All the questions.
Let's do this as a roll call vote. I think.
Which one are you working on? Number two?
Yeah, number two.
That's what I
Just,
thought.
change. All in favor of this minor addition to it, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Okay, so we have that addition to it.
And so, just so the council understands, so that was a subsidiary, so the motion that was read by Justin initially that we passed and we're having discussion on, so that's the primary motion.
Right,
So
that is correct.
now we're going through these as subsidiary motions. So when that passes, that's now part of the primary motion. There's no longer a subsidiary motion on the floor. And so any of the other 8 that we look through, that would be a subsequent subsidiary motion to amend the amended motion.
Thank you, yeah.
When we go back to the end, it'll be the conglomerate of all of the amended motions to the primary.
Understood.
That's good.
That was very explicit, thank you. So, number 3.
Move to amend the main motion to allow roosters if continuously fitted with a no crow collar.
I have no support from my standpoint, but that's my personal opinion. Anybody that wants crow
Well,
collars, bark collars?
As Councilmember Kren says, and as I stated at our last meeting, I just don't think it's a humane option. So I would be a no.
Okay, so any support? Anybody want to bring that motion forward?
However, it still gives the issue that it's not on here, and I will tell you that we don't need to change it. I am not going to fall on the sword for roosters, but I do not think we should ban them. But I'm not going to, there's no support for it, so I'm not going to.
So no support, any motion going forward on this one? None? Okay, go to the next one, number 4.
Move to amend the main motion to clarify that covered structures and fence areas shall comply with applicable provisions of the zoning ordinance, including but not limited to section 18.04. The italicized text is what would be added to the ordinance.
I think, did Andrew, did you see?
Is this the accessory structures?
I think so.
Is what you
Yeah.
suggested.
Yeah.
It's the accessory structure section. Staff believes that applicable provisions of the zoning ordinance already covers it. That's just naming one of the applicable sections.
So from a staff standpoint,
You feel
this is
comfortable?
not determined to be a required amendment.
It's not necessary, but it's optional.
Pointing language.
Okay.
Well, but I always worry that you point to one and make somebody think that that's the only other thing you should be pointing to. So if there are many, and so I don't think it's wrong to point it out, but I also don't want to have to, I don't think we should list one if there's others, because it can get a false sense of reading.
I think a
So,
lot of this will get flushed out in the registration process, on a case by case
Yeah.
basis.
And you feel comfortable?
so it's a good point, but I think
I would rather not, because then if the other changes at some point, you could end up with a disconnect. So it's fine.
I agree. So we have that. Do we have any support to do that as a motion for the addendum?
But we'll make sure Councilmember
Okay.
Krenz that we address that
Yep.
with
Yep,
registrants.
get with Andrew on that. Good. So go to the next one. What number are we on?
5, move
Five.
to amend the main motion to reduce the minimum setback for covered structures and fenced areas from 30 feet to 25 feet from any side or rear lot line. And then motion 6 is 20 feet from 30 and motion 7 is 15 feet from.
So you'd only
Mainly,
make,
we're
you'd only
taking
make
one
one.
of these.
You'd only make one because they're excluding.
I see it.
Yeah, you'd only make one. If
Yep.
someone wants to start with one or not. And if you don't start with any, then just let it go. But you wouldn't make multiple of the same thing because it would.
Right. So this would be one, and we have some flexibility on side yards in there too, I believe, getting back to.
Right.
a
I think
previous
something to
discussion.
keep in mind that a single family lot is for single family residential purposes. A small city lot can't be all things to all people.
Right.
So if you want a 5-bedroom house and a 5,000 square foot house, you probably can't do it on a 5,000 square foot lot and have a pool and have a detached garage and accessory buildings.
Right. And roosters.
You just have to keep in mind when you're buying the property, you should be aware of what's in the ordinance and what's allowed or applicable in your zoning district.
Understand.
So I can kick that one off. So I believe I wanted 15 feet. I think somebody else 20, and I think the mayor was 25. So I'll start out with my minimum. And I'll tell you that was just in half. I actually think it could be less. We keep talking about chickens, but this is about chickens and rabbits.
Right.
And so there's already other parts that, you know, it can't smell. They have to keep it clean. So I don't know what the distance has to be so large. You know, I even think if it's a 60 or 66 foot lot or whatever, I mean, 30 almost prohibits it, right? I mean, because that's rear and side. So I don't like, I hear what you're saying, Justin. We can't be all things to all people. But if it's not necessary to put a burdensome restriction on it that does prohibit it from happening to a good portion of the residential owners in our community, why do it? 15 feet is still a lot from a side. And I did get a call from somebody that has rabbits. I've never had rabbit, not unaware of, you know, the pens for outside, but they don't make any noise. You know, so you know, you'd be putting a rabbit pen in the middle of your yard, basically, if you were on a 60 or even a 70-foot lot. So you know, in the sense of compromise, I think bringing it to 15 is still more than reasonable and far away from a fence line and allows it, not for everyone. If somebody's like my size lot, no way. But the width of the lot or depth, but it still allows many people to have that option. And we're covered on, the roosters are gone, so we don't have to worry about that we have them at a distance for noise. So I don't know what.
I would just say the 30 feet is in the existing ordinance. That's the only standard that currently exists. So
Yeah.
that's why it was just retained as a.
Oh, and I'm rooting for time for a refresh.
Justin, just as a reference, what is the standard within other communities such as a Plymouth or?
So I looked, other communities have a range. Generally, it's 20 feet to 40 feet.
Okay.
So 30 kind of falls in there. I think the mayor recommended 20. I think Councilmember Krenz recommended 25. So there isn't a wrong answer.
Yeah.
It's really a policy option for council.
Okay, got you. And you're grandfathered in if you have them today too, is that
Any
correct?
existing coop or fenced area.
Anything that anybody has, rabbits, chickens, roosters, you can have right now in your existence, okay? The only thing on this one that I was open, because a normal lot is 60 feet by 100 or 150 or whatever, but it's 60 feet wide. 20 feet at least gives you an opportunity to, you know, have one in the middle of the back. That's why I chipped in on that. A 30-foot deal, you can't have something because you're 30 feet
Right.
on either side.
So then you would just say no.
So,
but
yeah, that is
we're
correct.
not
So that
doing
would be a no, and that would restrict some lots. So that was the discussion, if I remember correctly, in the first.
That's correct.
That's the only reason I mentioned
Well,
that.
one of the, if I just, things that we have in our ordinances, we want people to have detached garages, which puts them into their backyard. So that makes where you place things a little more difficult. It shifts it generally to one side or the other. So the more, it isn't, you know, the assumption is that they have an option for those 20 feet on both sides, right? So you can put it right in the middle, but if you've got a garage, you know, they just don't have flexibility.
Right.
So,
I'm very comfortable with those that have it. I've talked to a couple of people that have it right now. They have it for life or have it for their existence until they move out, and even on the roosters. I'm okay not to put it down to 20, but you see the rationale why I would put it to 20. So I am open for discussion on that.
I'm a 15 feet. If we have to choose one of these,
Yeah.
15 for me.
I am really good for 20 because that way you can put it in the back and on these lots, but that's, you let me know. So what are our choices on this?
So you could, someone just lead with a
Someone's gonna
motion.
make a
Lead with the motion.
and then-
We have a motion on the table
Yep.
at 15.
Yeah. At 15?
Barb, did you make the motion of 15 or did you discuss?
well, I was discussing
Starting
15,
discussion.
but I'll make the motion. Is
No.
am I making sure I'm reading this? Is it number 7, correct?
Yes.
Okay, number 7.
So I move to amend the main motion to reduce minimum setback for covered structures and fenced areas from 30 feet to 15 feet from any side or rear lot line.
I will probably roll from my 20 to 15 just to do that. So I got it. 20 is very logical. You can have something right in the middle of your lot. With 15, you can have it a little bit off-centered in the back. I got it. I understand that intellectually. Any other discussion on
I
that?
just have a question of clarification here. So on 5, 6, and 7, should the word or be between those? Because we can only approve one, right?
Yeah, these are.
Yeah, we're gonna approve one. We're gonna approve the 15.
Just so that
Or the
it's
motion.
clean in the future, is it would.
Let's say no,
Would we
no.
support the putting some kind of or in there so that it just reads clear? that we just select them?
Yes, we're gonna have one, we'll do all three of those in a minute if we take 15.
It's like that because if one of them failed, then you could move on to the
Right.
next one.
We can only approve one.
That is correct.
Yeah, so these were not put as a list that you'd have to go through. These were put as illustrations of
Right.
possible ones, so no one has
So
to
the
raise
other ones
any
will
of
be
these.
crossed out.
If you
It's
have
really
other
just for your
ideas for
convenience.
amendments.
If we approve.
We do not.
We're done it twice. Yep.
Because we had an hour discussion on this last time.
Thank you for that. Then I'm all set. I just want to make sure
Yep.
that that's clear.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. Barbara, anything else?
No, I believe if this passes, we don't do the other two.
that is
If
correct.
this
that
doesn't
is
pass,
correct.
then we
I was
move
gonna
on to.
explain
And just
that.
reading the room, because I'll give mine, my stance was gonna be 30 or 25. I think it becomes prohibitive in treating residents fairly and equitably.
Right.
Given you have different lot sizes, 15 or 20 was where I was gonna fall as well. So
Okay.
I'm anticipating that this likely passes, but
Right.
we'll support 20 if it doesn't.
We'll do a roll call vote on this one. So if we, I believe I hear 15 feet would be the motion right now. Is that what I?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
correct. So who would like to say that the 50 is?
So they both, it was, motion was made and seconded.
Okay, we had a motion, second. Any other discussion? We've had a lot of discussion. Clerk, I'd like to do a roll call vote on this one. If you would, please.
Sure. Krenz,
Yes.
Janetti,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Morosky Brown,
Yes.
Turnbull.
Yes, unanimous. Okay, we all rolled a little bit from top to the bottom on
There you
that.
go.
Good. So we handled 3 and 1, so we have one more left, number 8, is that correct?
That's correct.
And what is number 8?
Move to amend the main motion to reduce the minimum lot size required to keep horses and other farm animals from 5 acres to 2 acres.
Good. I am absolutely against that. You almost have to have that much in Canton just to have chickens in the whole bit. But so I know it was open. There are not too many 2-acre plus lots in the city of Northville. The one on Randolph where they put the fence, they have 2.2 acres. You have to have 2 acres to do one of those stone fences. I am not, my opinion only is, I think it's fine with 2 acres versus 5. I just can't see a horse on, 2 acres.
Well, I was thinking, we're focusing on horses, but it could be like a goat or
Right.
something.
Got
It'd be
you.
a lawnmower, right? That's quieter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If somebody would like to do that motion, we have any support for that motion?
Is this going,
Yes.
are you doing number 8?
Yes, we are doing number 8. If
I
you would-
support that. Somebody made the motion
No,
or you
no,
need us?
I'm looking
Okay,
for
I
the
make
motion.
I move to amend the main motion to reduce the minimum lot size required to keep horses and other farm animals from 5 to 2 acres.
So is there any support for that motion? Any support? None. We will not do a vote on that. That will not be addendum to the original motion. So you have all the information you want. Read the main motion again with
I
the
just want to
addendum.
point out, and I don't know if the state wants to correct me, but these were just illustrations of motions for your
Make any
convenience.
additional-
You can, council is free to make motions to any amendment that they want. Before we get to the end of it, you may not, you may be
I
fine
thought
with
this was a
where we
good
are.
way to go through it. I know
Because
Because we try to capture everything
I
that
don't
came up.
I don't want to think that you're limited, you were not limited by these
Sorry, I
motions.
didn't want you to come across.
Yes.
I was not trying to limit your.
We thank you. You caught
Just to clarify that.
8 different
It
versions.
allowed us to make sure we addressed
anything
everything
else?
previously discussed. I thought it was good.
Just
Good.
one thing, I don't know if I missed it when I was reading, is grandfathering in of existing roosters. Is this in the language? I didn't
No,
see
that's
it.
definitely not.
It's in
Yeah,
Did I
the,
miss that?
it's in the other non-conforming section, so there's a section of the ordinance that covers non-conformities, whether it's animals or whatever, when there's a change. Whatever's there is considered legal non-conforming and is allowed to
Okay,
continue.
got it. All right. So we're using the word grandfathered when it's really.
The term is non-conforming.
Right.
Thank you.
That's the order.
Non-conforming
Yeah.
roosters in North.
There we go.
Good.
Don't make.
I feel very comfortable with that. Nobody's going to take the roosters away or the chickens.
And you don't need
Or
to
the
tab that
rats.
says it's non-conforming.
Thank you. Okay.
Good. So we have a motion?
You have a motion that's already been supported, so now you just need to make a vote on the main motion.
So we had that motion initially and we had support for that. Is there any other discussion on that main motion? Seeing none, do a roll call vote on that one, please. And you want to, I think you've already read it. We already know it. You want to read it again?
I don't need to read it again. It's the main motion plus
Yep,
all the
as it-
specific
as amended.
subsidiary motions that are now incorporated into the main
Great.
motion.
So if you could do a roll call vote on that, that'd be outstanding.
Carter,
Yes.
Krenz,
Yes.
Morosky Brown,
Yes.
Janetti,
Yes.
Turnbull.
Yes. Good.
The
Now you're
art
gonna
of
have to,
compromise.
now you're gonna have to give us magnets for what else? The rabbits.
Thank you for
The
the
goats. They all have a little.
Although now I'll feel guilty every time I look at it. So
Appreciate that.
I
No,
did. I gave
great.
up the.
Thank you very much for your input on the fowl and the rabbits in the city of Northville. So number 2, new business. This is kind of the wrap up. We're going to go to a closed door just on a construction opportunity in Oakland County. We're going to go on that closed door to talk about an update on the farmers market and language with the township. No motions are going to be brought to the table when we come back. So I'm going to ask those do their closing comments now because you don't have, we're going to come back and just have a motion for closing. So in that, I'll start mayoral comments. This weekend, we have chili in the Ville. So if you're around Saturday, we have some people coming in like Debbie Dingle and others want to see the chili in the Ville, and people will be walking around. Should be interesting downtown. If you're hungry, come down with your appetite and get some chili in the Ville. Since last time, I think we just mentioned it. We had a couple awards, and the Citizen of the Year was Nancy Darga. We congratulate her tremendously for all she's done for the city. Also, the person that we gave the Volunteer of the Award was David Merrill from all the work that he's done on the cemetery. So I thank him for that each year. And it's quite an honor when you think about it. There's 27 boards and committees, and we have about 7% of all of our citizens involved. So he was the one. He spends a tremendous amount of time on that. So I thank him for that. And if you haven't heard, it'll be in the newsletter, other things. The 8 Mile Bridge is starting in construction March 1st. If you go by there, there's major construction activities going on. They have all the materials there. They have the equipment and the shovels. That will start. Things will be rerouted for some people. We know how to go before it to get around, but that will start. Again, approved in 22, designed in 23, supposed to be built in 24. They found all the conduit for the whole county underneath it. They had to reroute that for the past year. It will be built. That is a Wayne County great opportunity, but that will be done soon. So that's all I have. Others from council, updates before we leave downstairs. Barbara?
I'm good. I just hope it's a great day for Chili in the Ville. I love that event.
Should be fun. Should be fun.
So one quick one, I will be on Saturday supporting the Northville rowing team. So anyone who wants to come out to Northville High School and watch me make a fool of myself rowing against a bunch of very athletic high schoolers and donate to a great cause. The team is in need of new equipment and would love your support. So that'll be 8:30 to 11:30 on Saturday morning. Also looking forward to chili and the chili cook-off on Saturday, and then next bicentennial meeting will be on March 18th for anyone who can make it here at City Hall.
Great. Councilperson Kranz.
Real briefly, good luck rowing for 3 straight hours
Yep.
on Saturday morning.
Enjoy yourself.
A lot.
Youth, it's wasted on the young.
Go get them. I also want to do a big thank you to Amy Prevost, who has built Northville Youth Network. She has been here for years and years and has done incredible work shaping that organization with her hands. And just touched hundreds and hundreds of kids and families that need it. And she's moving on to a new role. So if you see her or can send her a note and say thank you, she's done wonders for this community behind the scenes and doesn't get much attention for it. Also, just not too long ago, big celebration to Megan Keller, who plays ice hockey in Farmington Hills and scored the overtime goal for the gold medal against Canada.
Great.
So that's pretty great. I know
today.
some friends whose daughters skate in Farmington Hills, and they can't wait to see her when she comes back. So that's pretty awesome. And then happy birthday to Councilmember Janetti. I have on good information that you are 24 years old today, so I wish you the absolute best.
24 again and again. Wow,
So-
look at you.
So maybe next time she does a pledge of allegiance because
She will. She's the youngest in here, maybe. Okay, good.
There you go.
Good,
That's it, Mayor.
good. Anything birthday girl down there?
No, I'm
Okay,
good. You
thank
guys do a great job.
Congratulations. So at this point, we're going to go to B, which is the city attorney requests a closed door session pursuant to MCL 15.243. Normally, we don't say what it is. It's not very exciting today. It's 2 different things out there, but he always gets excited when I say what we're doing in that. But we will come back and just do a motion for closing. So there's no reason to stick around. You can, if you want to just hang out, We'll be back. If you're going out with anybody afterwards, that would be the only thing. It should be short for an update, but we don't know. So with that, I am looking for that motion. Okay, we have the motion. Do we have support for that
I'll give it
motion?
a shot. Oh, we have the motion already?
Yep.
Oh, then I'll
You support? I believe we want a roll call vote on that one. Oh, any other discussion on that? Seeing none, a roll call vote on that, please.
Morosky Brown,
Yes.
Krenz,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Turnbull,
Yes.
Janetti.
Yes.
Great. We're suspending this. We're going downstairs. Feel free to stay and enjoy the ambiance of the council chambers, but we will be back to gavel out. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to come out of the closed session. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Do I have support?
Support.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I believe we need a roll call vote on that.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Janetti,
Yes.
Carter,
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Morosky Brown,
Oh, yes.
Krenz,
Yes.
Turnbull.
Yes. So we are back into session. Now I'm looking for a motion for adjournment. Do we have that
So
motion?
moved.
So we have a motion. Do we have support for that motion?
Support.
Support all around me. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.